Hello everyone, we are the USC Ethics Forum team. I'm Alexander Huerta.
I'm Judy Kim.
And I'm Anahita Dalmia. When my uncle was just 9 years old, he went missing. And our family friend discovered him begging at the street, homeless, 2 weeks later. It turns out that he had been kidnapped so that he could beg on the street because begging is a profitable industry. But the situation of homelessness is not just limited to third world countries like India. It affects our immediate environment. It actually affects all college campuses.
Believe it or not, this issue is currently taking place even at the most elite college private institutions, including USC. Using USC as an example, there are students currently sleeping at the library and taking showers at the gym. Every week, these students have to decide if they'll sacrifice their shelter for food. What is more striking is that these universities do not want to acknowledge the problem because they know that once they do, it will ruin their own reputation. They know that even they don't provide statistics that these students are not labeled as homeless. If we want to take initiative, students have to help one another before schools can take actions themselves.
Now, in our nation, there are 3 issues causing homelessness. The first is a lack of mental health care. This means that the mentally ill find it impossible and hard to find jobs, find housing, and find food. The second is a lack of a permanent address. Without a permanent address, it becomes that much harder to find a job and thus find housing. And then the third is a rise in rent and a reduction in income. This means that especially in inner cities, individuals and families are being kicked out to the streets. The Central Florida Commission found that it's 3 times more expensive to keep people on the streets than to give them housing. And it's unethical to ignore 500,000 Americans living on the streets.
Internationally, homelessness, like every other place, is driven by poverty, but there are several different repercussions of it. In many countries such as India, it's actually cheaper to remain homeless and beg than it is to take a home, find a job and try to get a home. That is because you are at a disadvantage. You don't have any education or career training, which will not make you eligible for more high-paying jobs. And the minimum wage is so low that you can't afford housing if you do such jobs as well. This makes the people unwilling to work and more interested in begging and going into the traffic industry. And it also leads to learned helplessness. If you want to escape the cycle of homelessness, you don't believe that you have the power to.
Now, when we apply the 4-way test to this issue, we can just see how unethical the current status quo is. First, is it the truth? As first-hand witnesses, we can safely say that these events are happening on an everyday basis. Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build better friendships and goodwill? And lastly, is it beneficial to all concerned? As students are not able to pursue an education in an equally fair atmosphere, and they're victims suffering from human trafficking, from those who are more privileged and higher authorities in power, we can say that this problem is currently unethical.
So our solution focuses on 4 topics. First is a reduction in stigma. Second and third is finding housing and food for these homeless people. And then fourth is providing a disposable income. On the campus, this means that we need to provide statistics and information on this homeless population. They will also need to create an anonymous survey to place these students in regular housing so that there is no stigma surrounding their housing. And finally, the campus needs to provide well-paying jobs so that the students can focus on schoolwork rather than finding a job. Nationwide, we need to increase the minimum wage, and we need to provide mental health care and provide information on how to get the homeless to these benefits. Internationally, the most important thing is to outlaw begging so that human trafficking is no longer profitable.
We will also apply the 4-way test to the solutions. Is it true? We are using facts, our experiences and solutions that have already been applied worldwide at a smaller scale and are proven to be effective to drive our arguments for our solutions. Is it fair to all? Helping the homeless is a choice which actually makes this fair for all, and people who make that decision make it because it is beneficial for all. By helping the homeless, you clean up your own streets, you make your streets safer, and you have these people as contributing members of the economy. As a result, you also build goodwill and friendship because these people are integrated into mainstream society and the stigma of homelessness is reduced. Let us all work together to create a better world, one where children are not kidnapped to beg on the street, where college students are not living in the back of their car, and in which the mental health patients have the treatment that they need.